Imagine waking up one morning and looking in the mirror, not to find faults, but to see a person worthy of love. Imagine feeling at peace with who you are, just as you are, without needing anyone's approval. Imagine going through your day without being crushed by past regrets or worrying about what others think. This is not a fantasy. It's a way of life. A gentle, quiet strength that begins when you choose to always love yourself. Have you ever wondered why it's so easy to be kind to others, but so hard to be kind to yourself? Why do we often treat strangers with more compassion than we show our own hearts? Why do we carry the weight of old mistakes when we forgive someone else for the same things in a heartbeat? These questions matter, because the way we treat ourselves shapes everything else around us. Our relationships, our peace, our happiness. Think of a small plant. If you water it, give it sunlight, and protect it from harsh winds, it grows. But if you ignore it, or worse, damage it, it withers. You're that plant. And self-love is the water, the sunlight, and the gentle shelter. Without it, you can survive, but with it, you can truly thrive. Welcome to Wisdom Woven. If you've ever felt like something's missing deep inside, if you've ever longed for peace, confidence, or just to feel good about being you, then this journey is for you. We're here to explore how Buddhist wisdom, in its pure and simple truths, can gently guide us to love ourselves in a way that's calm, steady, and real. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe to our channel. Drop your thoughts in the comments. We truly want to hear you. And if you're ready to stay positive till the very end of this video, type Namo Buddhari in the comments as your quiet promise to yourself. Loving yourself doesn't mean becoming selfish or proud. It means understanding your own heart, forgiving your own mistakes, and treating yourself as someone who matters. In Buddhism, this begins with mindfulness, watching your thoughts without judgment, like clouds passing through a calm sky. It means noticing when you're harsh to yourself and gently replacing those thoughts with kindness. Many people over 45 carry years of silent pain, burdens from family, society, or their own past choices. But Buddhism teaches that nothing is permanent, not even your pain. You can begin again, every day, right now. Let this be that beginning. Look deeply, friend. When you stand before a mirror, what do you see? A face, perhaps tired or worn from many years, marked by stories only you know. Do you see yourself clearly? Or do you see the judgments you have learned from others? The world teaches us many ways to look, but few teach us how to truly see. Mindfulness is the path to clear seeing. It is not about changing what is in the mirror, but about changing how you look. It is the gentle art of paying attention without pushing or pulling. Imagine sitting quietly beside a calm lake. The surface reflects the sky and the trees without distortion. This is the mind when it is mindful, open, calm, and kind. But the mind is often like a stormy sea, tossing waves of criticism and doubt. You might hear a voice inside that says, "You are not enough," or "You should be different." These are not truths. They are clouds passing through your clear sky. Practice watching these clouds. Notice the thoughts as they come, but do not grab them or push them away. Simply observe. Breathe in peace. Breathe out judgment. This is the beginning of loving yourself through mindfulness. When you look with compassionate eyes, you begin to see the fullness of your being. You see not only the mistakes and the pains, but also the courage and the kindness that live quietly inside. You begin to understand that your struggles are part of being human, not a flaw, but a shared experience. There's a story from the Zen tradition about a monk who was troubled by his faults. One day, his teacher handed him a mirror. The monk looked and saw his reflection. The teacher said, "Do you see yourself? Not your mistakes, not your fears, just yourself." The monk looked again, and for the first time, he saw peace. Mindfulness is that mirror. It does not lie. It shows you who you are with honesty and kindness. When you learn to look this way, you stop fighting yourself. You stop living in fear of who you are or who you should be. Instead, you welcome yourself home. When you welcome yourself, you make space for healing. The parts of you that hurt, that hide, that ache, they begin to soften. Because compassion is the gentle water that cleanses without force. It soothes without demands. You might wonder, how do I start? The answer is simple, yet profound. Start by noticing. Notice your breath. Notice your thoughts. Notice how you treat yourself when no one else is watching. Are your words gentle or harsh? Are your thoughts patient or restless? Begin with kindness. Speak to yourself as you would to a dear friend who is tired or sad. If your friend stumbles, would you scold them? Or would you offer a hand and a smile? You deserve the same kindness. Each moment you bring mindful attention to your inner life, you strengthen the bond of love with yourself. It is not something you earn or a prize you win. It is your natural right, like the sky belongs to the birds or the ocean to the fish. In the quiet space of mindfulness, the noise of self-criticism fades. You realize that you're not your thoughts or your feelings. You're the one who watches them. This awareness is freedom. Remember, this is a practice, not a goal. Sometimes your mind will wander. Sometimes harsh thoughts will return. This is natural. Each time you return to the present moment, you are planting a seed of self-love. With patience, these seeds grow into a forest of peace. It may help to create a daily habit. Sit quietly for a few minutes. Close your eyes. Breathe slowly and deeply. Let your attention rest on the breath. When your mind drifts, gently bring it back. No judgment, no hurry. Over time, this simple practice becomes a friend you carry within. It is there in moments of joy and in times of sorrow. It holds you steady when life feels uncertain. You might also practice mindful walking. Feel each step as your foot touches the ground. Listen to the sounds around you without labeling them good or bad. Just be present with the world and with yourself. Through mindfulness, you learn to see yourself not as an enemy or a stranger, but as a beloved companion on life's journey. You become your own refuge. This compassionate seeing changes everything. It softens the harsh voice inside. It brings light to dark places. It creates a gentle home where your heart can rest. In this space, you begin to understand the teachings of the Buddha more deeply. The Buddha taught that suffering arises when we cling to fixed ideas about ourselves. When we judge and reject, we cause pain. When we open to mindful awareness, we create freedom. Friend, be patient with yourself. Just as the lotus grows slowly through mud before blooming, your love for yourself unfolds in time. Do not rush or force it. Trust the process. Trust the gentle unfolding of your heart. Each moment you choose mindfulness, you choose love. Let this be your practice today and every day. See yourself through compassionate eyes. Let the mirror of mindfulness reflect back your true nature, a being worthy of kindness, peace, and love. As the Zen saying goes, before enlightenment, chop wood, carry water. After enlightenment, chop wood, carry water. The practice is simple. The love is steady. The peace is yours. Imagine a tree standing tall in a quiet forest. Its branches reach high. Its leaves shimmer in the sunlight. Yet beneath the surface, deep in the soil, its roots stretch and twist, sometimes tangled and knotted. The health of a tree depends on those roots, though we cannot see them. So it is with our hearts. To love ourselves fully, we must understand the roots of our suffering, the tangled feelings and old beliefs that hold us back. Many people carry a silent burden inside, a heavy weight they do not always speak about. This burden grows from fear, doubt, and old wounds that never quite healed. Sometimes it started long ago, in childhood, when love felt conditional. You are only worthy if you behave well, if you succeed, if you please others. These ideas seep deep into our minds, like roots growing underground. Over time, they shape how we see ourselves, often with harsh judgment. The Buddha once said suffering comes from craving and attachment. We crave approval. We attach to the idea of being perfect, and when reality does not meet these expectations, pain arises. This craving is natural, but it can become a trap. We long to be loved by others, but the most important love, self-love, is often missing. We forget that to truly accept others, we must first accept ourselves. Why is it so hard to love ourselves? Because our minds tell stories. Stories of failure, of not being enough. These stories play like an old film, repeating scenes that bring shame or guilt. We forget these stories are just thoughts, not truth. Yet they hold great power over us, like shadows that follow us even in sunlight. One reason we struggle with self-love is that we confuse it with pride or selfishness. We fear that if we love ourselves too much, we will become arrogant or that others will see us as vain. But real self-love is humble and quiet. It does not shout or demand attention. It listens patiently, forgives softly, and holds space for growth. Another root of suffering is comparison. We look at others and think they are better, more successful, more beautiful. We measure our worth by these comparisons and feel small. But this is like comparing the sun to the moon. Each shines in its own time and way. You're not meant to be someone else. Your path is unique. The Buddha taught the principle of anatta, or no self. This means that who we think we are is not fixed. We are constantly changing. Our suffering comes when we cling to a rigid identity, to the I that is flawed or unworthy. Letting go of this fixed idea of self opens the door to kindness and love. It is natural to fear rejection, to fear that if we open our hearts to ourselves, we might face pain we tried to avoid. But the truth is, love grows in the very places where pain once lived. When you welcome yourself with gentle kindness, you begin to heal. The roots of suffering begin to soften. Suffering also grows from the stories we tell about the past. Mistakes made, words spoken in anger, chances lost. These memories can feel like heavy stones we carry in our pockets. But Buddhism teaches that the past is gone. It cannot be changed. What matters is how we meet the present moment. Here, now, you have the power to choose compassion over blame. Sometimes, the root of suffering is simple loneliness. We believe we are alone in our pain. But everyone suffers. Everyone struggles with loving themselves. You are not isolated. Recognizing this shared experience can bring comfort. Like a traveler who finds others walking the same path, you realize you're not lost. One of the most powerful teachings in Buddhism is the practice of metta, or loving-kindness meditation. This practice helps us send gentle wishes of love, first to ourselves, then to others. It breaks the cycle of harsh self-judgment. Slowly, the heart softens. The roots of suffering loosen their grip. In daily life, the struggle to love ourselves shows in many ways. Maybe you hide your feelings, afraid to be vulnerable. Maybe you push yourself too hard, seeking approval through work or achievements. Maybe you ignore your needs, thinking they're less important than others. All these actions come from a place of fear, not love. Understanding the roots of suffering is not about blaming yourself. It is about seeing clearly. When you see the causes, you gain the power to change. You can water the seeds of kindness and patience in your heart. The tree of self-love will grow strong. Sometimes, it helps to sit quietly and watch your thoughts. Notice when your mind judges or criticizes. Instead of fighting those thoughts, simply observe. Let them come and go like waves in the ocean. This practice, called mindfulness, is a light that reveals the roots without pulling them harshly. The Buddha's path is gentle and steady. It does not promise quick fixes or magic cures. It offers a way to understand suffering deeply, to accept it without running, and to transform it through love. When you do this, you're no longer a prisoner of your own mind. Remember, you do not have to be perfect to deserve love. In fact, it is precisely because you are human with flaws and strengths that you deserve kindness. Loving yourself means embracing your whole being, not just the parts you wish were different. Each moment offers a new chance. When you wake up, you can choose to be kind to yourself. When you make a mistake, you can respond with forgiveness instead of harshness. When you face fear or doubt, you can invite patience and understanding. The roots of suffering are not your enemy. They are part of your story, your journey. By facing them with courage and compassion, you allow yourself to grow beyond pain. You create space for peace. Loving yourself is the beginning of all love. It is the source from which compassion for others flows naturally. As you soften toward yourself, you will find a world softening around you. The tree in the forest stands not because it denies its roots, but because it knows how to nourish them. So too, you must tend your inner roots, your thoughts, feelings, and memories, with care. If you're struggling to love yourself, do not despair. This struggle is a common human experience. Like the seasons, it changes. Spring always follows winter. In time, with gentle practice, your heart will bloom. This is the teaching of the Buddha, freedom from suffering through understanding and love. It begins with looking inward, not to blame, but to heal. It begins with a single choice, to love yourself just as you are. Let your roots grow deep in kindness. Let your branches reach for the sky with hope. This is the path to peace. This is the way to always love yourself. Imagine sitting quietly under a tree. The world around you is busy, noisy, full of endless chatter and distraction. Yet here you are silent. Not forced silence, but a deep calmness that wraps around your heart like a gentle breeze. This is the space where your true self speaks, not with loud words, but with soft whispers. Many of us have forgotten how to listen to this quiet voice inside. We rush through life, filling our days with noise, television, phones, worries, and endless tasks. But beneath all that noise, there is a calm well within you. It is your inner voice, the part of you that knows your true needs, your true feelings, your true self. In Buddhism, we call this noble silence. It is not just the absence of sound, but the presence of peaceful awareness. When you sit with noble silence, you are not trying to escape life. Instead, you are opening your heart to life as it truly is. You listen without judgment, without rushing to fix or change. You simply listen. Why is this so important? Because in our busy minds, we often miss the signals our soul sends us. We ignore the feelings of tiredness, sadness, or joy. We push away the parts of ourselves that seem weak or broken. But the inner voice, the silence within, does not lie. It tells you what you need to heal. It tells you when you need rest, when you need kindness, when you need love. To listen to this voice, you must practice patience. Just as a flower does not bloom overnight, your understanding will grow slowly. Start by sitting quietly for a few minutes each day. Find a place where you feel safe. Close your eyes gently. Take a deep breath. Feel the air enter and leave your body. Allow your mind to settle like the surface of a still pond. As the ripples fade, notice what arises. Do not chase the thoughts. Do not judge them as good or bad. Simply observe. Let them pass like clouds in the sky. In this silence, the voice of your heart will become clearer. Sometimes, this voice may bring feelings of sadness or loneliness. Do not fear these feelings. They're like the rain that waters the earth. They help you grow. Accept them as part of your human experience. When you do, you soften the hardness inside, the resistance that keeps you from loving yourself fully. When you learn to listen deeply, you will find that you are not alone. There is a quiet companionship within you, a gentle presence that supports and understands. This presence is your true self, beyond the worries and fears. It is the part of you that Buddha spoke of, the unchanging truth beneath all change. In daily life, noble silence can be difficult to find. Our world is full of distractions. But even in the busiest moments, you can carry this silence in your heart. When you feel overwhelmed, pause. Take a breath. Listen. What is your inner voice telling you? Does it ask for rest? For forgiveness? For courage? Sometimes, the inner voice will guide you to make changes in your life. Maybe it will ask you to let go of a hurt you have carried too long. Maybe it will remind you to be gentle with yourself when mistakes happen. It may simply tell you to breathe deeply and be present right now. This practice is not about escaping reality. It is about embracing reality with a loving heart. When you listen to your inner voice, you learn to trust yourself again. You learn that you have the wisdom inside you to face any challenge. The more you practice noble silence, the more you will notice small miracles. You may find joy in simple things: a bird's song, the warmth of sunlight, the smile of a stranger. You may feel a deep peace that nothing in the world can take away. Remember, noble silence is not emptiness. It is full of presence and love. It is the space where self-love begins. When you listen to yourself without judgment, you tell your heart that it is safe to be here, safe to be you. This practice will also help you in your relationships. When you understand your own heart, you can understand others more deeply. Compassion grows naturally when you stop to listen, first to yourself, then to those around you. If you find your mind wandering or getting restless, do not be harsh with yourself. This is natural. Each moment of returning to silence is a victory. Each breath brings you closer to your true self. You may wonder, how long does it take to hear this voice clearly? The answer is different for everyone. Some hear it quickly, others take time. Be patient with your journey. The path of self-love is gentle. It does not rush. In time, you will see that noble silence is a friend who never leaves you. It is the quiet wisdom that guides you through storms and sunshine alike. When you face difficult emotions, this silence holds you gently. When you celebrate joys, it shares your happiness quietly. You are never alone when you carry this silence within. The Buddha taught that peace comes from within, not from outside things. When you learn to listen, you find a well of peace inside yourself. This peace is the foundation of true love, love that begins with you. So, sit with noble silence today. Listen to your heart as if it were a dear friend. Trust the whispers, even if they are soft. They carry the truth of who you are, of being worthy of love, kindness, and understanding. Let this silence grow inside you like a seed planted deep in the earth. With time, it will bloom into a garden of self-love and compassion. This garden will nourish you and those around you for all the days to come. Remember, every moment you return to this silence, you are taking a step toward freedom. Freedom from judgment, from fear, and from loneliness. Freedom to simply be yourself as you are. There is great power in listening. The power to heal, to grow, and to love. May you find this power within your own noble silence. Listen carefully. Life is always happening in this moment, right now. Not in the past, which has gone like the wind. Not in the future, which has not come yet. But here, this moment, right now, is all you truly have. This is the place where life breathes, where your heart beats, where your true self exists. Many people forget this. They live caught in memories, trapped in regrets or old stories. Or they spend their days worrying about what will come. Yet the present moment is a gift, pure and simple. It is the only place where change can happen, where peace can be found, where love can grow. When you learn to live fully in the present, you stop fighting what is. You stop wishing things were different. You begin to accept yourself exactly as you are now. Not perfect, not broken, just real. This acceptance is not giving up. It is opening the door to true freedom. Imagine a river flowing. The water does not resist the stones or the bends. It moves gently around them, continuing its path. Like the river, you too can flow with life's moments instead of against them. When you live in the present, you are no longer chained to your fears or old pains. You become like that river, calm, steady, and alive. Many of us carry heavy bags filled with if-onlys and what-ifs. These are shadows from the past and future that block your light. But what if you put down that bag? What if, just for a moment, you let go of those worries? When you do, you open space for your true self to be seen and loved. This is where Buddhist teaching helps deeply. The Buddha said, "Do not dwell on the past, do not dream of the future. Concentrate the mind on the present moment." This is not easy at first because your mind loves to wander. But with practice, it becomes natural to gently bring your attention back to now. Try this simple practice. Sit quietly. Notice your breath. Feel the air enter and leave your body. When your mind drifts, calmly bring it back. No judgment, no frustration, just gentle attention. This is mindfulness. It is a key to loving yourself in the present. By focusing on the present, you begin to see clearly. You notice your thoughts, your feelings, your body. You discover what makes you feel joy and what brings pain. And in that seeing, you gain the power to choose, to act with kindness toward yourself and others. Embracing who you are now means you do not wait until you change or lose weight or find success. You do not say, "I will love myself when." No. You love yourself now, with all your imperfections and doubts. This is the true courage. Sometimes it feels easier to stay stuck in old patterns because they are familiar. But familiar does not mean healthy. It does not mean true. The present moment invites you to step out of those patterns, to breathe fresh air, to open your heart. When you accept yourself in this moment, you create a peaceful home inside, a place where no storm can shake you. This peace is not silence or stillness alone. It is a deep knowing that no matter what happens, you are enough. Life will always bring challenges, but when you live in the present, you are ready. You meet each moment with calm strength. You see clearly what is happening, and you respond wisely. This is the middle way, not ignoring pain, but not being overwhelmed by it either. Remember, the present moment is a teacher. It shows you what you need to learn, what you need to heal. When you listen to it with love, you grow, slowly, gently, day by day. You may ask, how do I keep returning to this moment when life is so busy? The answer is simple. Wherever you are, pause. Take a breath. Feel your feet on the ground. Feel your hands. Feel your breath. This small act anchors you in now. Each breath is a fresh start. Each moment gives you a chance to begin again. This is the power of the present. By living in this way, you build a strong foundation of self-love. Not the kind that depends on outside praise or achievement, but the kind that is steady and quiet, like a mountain that stands through storms. Do not rush this process. Be patient with yourself. Sometimes your mind will pull you away. Sometimes old fears will rise. This is normal. Simply notice them and return gently to the present. When you practice this daily, you begin to see beauty in simple things. The warmth of sunlight on your skin, the sound of birds, the softness of your own breath. These small moments are miracles. They remind you of the preciousness of life. As you learn to embrace who you are now, your relationships will change too. When you love yourself, you offer love more freely to others. You listen with more patience. You forgive more easily. The path to self-love through the present moment is not a straight road. It twists and turns. Some days are bright, some days are dark. But with each step, you move closer to peace. Remember the words of the Buddha, you yourself, as much as anybody in the entire universe, deserve your love and affection. This truth is always here, waiting for you to see it. So today, begin again. Let go of the past and future. Come home to this moment. Breathe deeply. Feel your heart beating. Say quietly to yourself, I am here. I am enough. This simple act is a revolution. It is the awakening within. It is the beginning of a gentle, lifelong love, the love you have always deserved. The nature of life is change. Everything around you moves and shifts, like the wind that brushes the trees or the clouds that float across the sky. Nothing stays the same. This is the teaching of impermanence, a truth the Buddha shared long ago, a truth that is as real now as it was then. Yet, many of us forget this simple fact and hold tightly to the past, to old mistakes, regrets, pain, and judgment. This tight grip is what causes suffering. Imagine you are holding a cup of water. The water is your past, old memories, old hurts, old regrets. When you hold the cup too tightly, your hands start to hurt. The water may spill or become dirty. But when you loosen your grip, the water flows freely and your hands rest peacefully. Life is like that cup of water. Holding on too tight only causes pain. We live in a world that often judges us for what we have done or failed to do. Perhaps you have carried heavy burdens from things said to you long ago. Maybe you judge yourself harshly for mistakes made years ago. But these judgments are not the truth of who you are now. They are shadows of the past, flickering in the corners of your mind. Buddhism teaches us to see clearly and simply, to understand that everything is changing, including our thoughts and feelings. Nothing is fixed. What we were yesterday is not who we are today, and who we are today will change tomorrow. This is the natural flow of life. When we try to stop this flow, when we try to hold on to pain or guilt, we suffer. Like a tree that resists the wind, it will break. But a tree that bends with the wind will survive the storm. You, too, can learn to bend with the changes inside you. You can learn to let go. Letting go is not easy. The mind likes to keep hold of stories, especially painful ones. But notice this, holding on to pain doesn't heal it. It only makes it heavier, like carrying a heavy stone in your pocket. You don't need to carry it forever. You can place it down. You can breathe. Take a moment now to imagine yourself standing beside a river. You see leaves and branches floating gently on the water. These leaves are like your memories and judgments. They come, they drift, and they move on. You do not need to catch them or hold them. You only watch them pass by. This is mindfulness, watching without holding on. Each time you find yourself trapped in old stories or harsh judgments, remind yourself, this too will pass. Your thoughts are like clouds, sometimes dark and heavy, sometimes light and bright. They move, but the sky remains clear. You are like the sky, vast, open, and free. Buddha said that suffering comes when we crave or cling to things that are changing. When we accept impermanence, we stop clinging. We begin to see the beauty of the moment, even if it is difficult. There is peace in acceptance. It is important to be gentle with yourself. Letting go does not mean forgetting lessons learned. It means you no longer punish yourself for them. You carry the lessons lightly, like a traveler who remembers the road but does not carry its stones. You might ask, how do I let go of the past when it feels so heavy? The answer is found in simple practice. Begin by breathing deeply and bringing your attention to the present moment. Feel the breath entering and leaving your body. Notice the sounds around you. Feel your feet touching the earth. When your mind wanders to painful memories or self-judgment, simply notice it. Say softly to yourself, this is a thought. It is not me. Then, gently return your focus to the breath. Over time, this practice builds strength. It teaches the mind to observe without getting caught. Remember, you are not your past mistakes. You are not your regrets. You're the awareness that watches these thoughts come and go. When you see this clearly, you begin to free yourself from the chains of judgment. Sometimes, you might feel sadness or anger as you release old burdens. This is natural. Feel those emotions fully, but do not identify with them. Like waves on the ocean, they rise and fall. You remain steady beneath them, like the deep water. In Buddhism, there's a story about a monk who carried a heavy load every day. One day, he met the Buddha and said, I carry this burden of guilt and shame. How can I be free? The Buddha smiled and said, place your burden down. It is not yours to carry forever. That is what you were invited to do now. Place your burden down. Let the past be the past. It cannot harm you unless you hold it close. Practice kindness towards yourself as you learn this. Speak to yourself with the same warmth and patience you would offer a dear friend. You deserve that kindness. When you let go of old judgments, you make space for new beginnings. You open the door to a fresh start, no matter your age or past. Life is always ready to begin again. Let impermanence be your teacher and your friend. Let it remind you that change is possible, that healing is possible, that love for yourself is possible. The moment you stop holding on tightly, you feel a lightness, a freedom that has been waiting all along. It is like stepping into sunlight after a long winter. Your heart feels open. Your mind feels clear. No matter how many years have passed, no matter what you have done or not done, you have the power to change your relationship with yourself. You have the power to choose peace. This is the path of wisdom. This is the path of freedom. So, each day, remind yourself, everything changes. And that is the beauty of life. The river flows. The leaves drift. The clouds move. And you, like the sky, remain clear and free. This moment is yours. Breathe in. Breathe out. Let go. Be free. In the quiet space between night and day, when the world seems still and breath is slow, There's a teaching that has guided many across centuries, the middle way. This is not just a path or a rule. It is a gentle rhythm of life. It invites us to walk between extremes, to find balance in the dance of opposing forces. When it comes to loving yourself, the middle way shows us how to embrace who we are, exactly as we are, while also encouraging gentle growth. It asks us to hold two truths at once: that we are enough, just as we are, and that we can always become better, step by step, with kindness. Many people think self-love means only accepting yourself without any change. Others believe it means pushing yourself hard to improve, never resting. But both extremes can bring suffering. To accept yourself fully, without growth, can lead to stagnation and sadness. To chase change without acceptance can cause frustration and endless struggle. The middle way asks us to see ourselves with clear eyes and an open heart. It invites us to hold compassion for our present self, while also welcoming the possibility of gentle transformation. Imagine a river flowing. It does not rush blindly, nor does it stop and freeze. It moves with the landscape, adapting, shaping, and yet remaining true to its nature. Our self-love can be like this river, steady and flowing, firm yet flexible. To walk this path, we begin by noticing the stories we tell ourselves. When you look in a mirror, what do you say? Are your words harsh, pushing you to be more, better, faster? Or are they soft, forgiving, and warm? The middle way invites you to balance these voices, to speak with honesty, but never cruelty. In Buddhist teachings, this is called right view, seeing clearly without bias, without judgment. When you see yourself clearly, you stop fighting with who you are. You accept your strengths and your weaknesses. You stop comparing yourself to others and stop chasing unrealistic ideals. Yet, acceptance does not mean giving up. It means making peace with where you are now. From that peace, real change can grow. Like a tree rooted deep in soil, it reaches for the sky slowly, with patience and grace. You may ask, how can I grow if I'm already supposed to accept myself? The answer lies in kindness. When you accept yourself, you stop the inner battle. Your energy is freed from fighting yourself and can instead be used to nurture your growth. Growth becomes a natural expression of love, not a punishment. Think about the seasons. In spring, a seed breaks open. It does not force itself. It opens when it is ready. In summer, it grows tall, leaves reaching for sunlight. In autumn, leaves fall away, preparing the tree for rest in winter. Each season has its time, and the tree does not rush or resist. You're like this tree. Some days you may feel strong and ready to change. Other days, you may need to rest and simply be. Both are necessary. Both are part of loving yourself fully. When you struggle with change, remember the middle way. Don't be hard on yourself for not moving faster. Don't be proud or angry for feeling stuck. Instead, come back to your breath. Breathe in acceptance. Breathe out judgment. Self-acceptance also means forgiving your past. Perhaps you made mistakes or hurt yourself in ways that still linger. The middle way teaches that forgiveness is not forgetting or excusing. It is freeing yourself from the chains of regret and guilt. Imagine carrying a heavy bag filled with stones. Each stone is a regret or a harsh word you said to yourself. Forgiveness allows you to set down that bag, even if just for a moment, to rest. When you rest, you regain strength. Only when you have this strength can you choose to grow without fear. Growth from a place of love is gentle and steady. It does not tear you down, but builds you up, brick by brick, with care. Many people confuse growth with sudden change, a dramatic leap, or complete transformation. But true growth, especially in loving yourself, is subtle. It is learning to smile at your reflection, even on hard days. It is choosing to speak kindly when your mind wants to criticize. It is being patient when progress feels slow. You may notice moments when old fears arise. You might feel unworthy, not good enough, or overwhelmed by your flaws. These moments are normal. The middle way reminds us to meet these feelings without judgment. See them as passing clouds, not the whole sky. When you respond to yourself with kindness, you build trust. Trust is the foundation of self-love. Like a seed planted in fertile soil, trust allows your heart to open and bloom. The practice of meditation is one way to nurture this trust. Sitting quietly, watching your breath, you learn to observe your thoughts without getting caught in them. This helps you understand that your negative thoughts are not facts. They're just stories your mind tells. With this understanding, you begin to separate your true self from the noise of judgment and doubt. You discover a calm space inside where love can grow naturally. Remember, loving yourself is not a destination, but a journey. Some days you may feel close, other days distant. This is natural. The middle way is walking the path steadily, with patience and compassion for yourself. In your daily life, try to notice where you are leaning too far toward harshness or too far toward complacency. Gently bring yourself back to the center, the place of balance. You might try simple reminders. When you feel self-critical, pause and breathe. Say quietly, I accept myself as I am. When you feel stuck, invite curiosity. Ask, what small step can I take today to care for myself? The middle way also teaches us to live without extremes in our habits. Loving yourself includes caring for your body with food, rest, and movement, but not overindulging or neglecting it. It means allowing yourself joy without chasing pleasure endlessly. When your mind feels scattered or overwhelmed, return to the present moment. Feel your feet on the ground. Notice the air in your lungs. This moment is enough. You are already whole, even if you don't feel it yet. The middle way reminds you to honor that wholeness with gentle care and open-hearted effort. Over time, this balance brings peace. You stop pushing against yourself. You stop fighting your flaws. You begin to feel a quiet strength, a love that does not demand, does not reject, but simply is. This love does not come from the outside. It arises naturally when you stop resisting who you are. You do not have to wait for others to love you. You do not need to achieve perfection to deserve kindness. You simply need to practice the middle way, accepting yourself fully and growing gently. This is the seed of true self-love. It grows quietly, deeply, and with lasting roots. Each day, as you choose balance, you weave the fabric of your life with threads of peace and compassion. You create a space inside where you are free to be yourself, imperfect, evolving, and always worthy of love. Walk this path patiently. Trust the rhythm of your own growth. Know that loving yourself is the greatest gift you can give, not only to yourself but to all those whose lives you touch. In the quiet of your heart, there is a gentle voice waiting to be heard. This voice is not loud or demanding. It is soft like the whisper of the wind through the trees. It calls you to remember who you truly are, of being worthy of love, not just from others, but from yourself. Many people believe loving themselves is selfish, but in truth, it is the very first step to peace. Imagine a lamp in a dark room. If the lamp is dim or broken, the room stays dark. But if you nurture the lamp, keep its flame bright, the light spreads. Loving kindness is like tending that lamp inside you. Without it, the world around you feels cold and shadowed. In the Buddhist way, a bodhisattva is someone who helps others find their path to peace and happiness. Yet, before they can truly help others, they must fill their own cup. Loving kindness, or metta, begins within. It flows outward, but its source is you. You are the seed and the gardener. If you neglect yourself, how can you nourish others? Take a moment now. Breathe in deeply. Feel the air fill your lungs. As you breathe out, imagine sending a soft wave of kindness toward your own heart. This is the practice of metta meditation, a simple yet profound way to awaken loving kindness inside. It might feel strange at first. Your mind might say, why should I love myself? I have made mistakes. I have hurt others. I am not perfect, but perfection is not the goal. Loving kindness asks only for your presence, your gentle acceptance. It is the willingness to say, I am here, I am enough. The Buddha taught that all beings want to be happy and free from suffering. This includes you. When you practice loving kindness toward yourself, you remind your mind of this truth. You break the cycle of self-criticism and begin to build a home for compassion. Imagine a small child, innocent and curious. How would you treat this child? You would offer warmth, protection, and encouragement. Your own inner child deserves no less. Is that part of you that feels hurt, afraid, or lonely? Speak to this child with tenderness. Say, I see you. I love you. Loving kindness is not a quick fix. It is a lifelong journey. Sometimes, you may feel stuck in old patterns of doubt or pain. That is natural, like a river carving a new path through the earth. Your heart will find its way with gentle persistence. One way to cultivate loving kindness is to use simple phrases that echo in your mind and heart. Say silently, may I be safe, may I be happy, may I be healthy, may I live with ease. Repeat these words slowly. Feel their meaning deepen with each breath. If your mind wanders, gently bring it back, like returning a child to a safe path. Remember, loving kindness is not about ignoring difficulties or pretending everything is perfect. It is about being with yourself, even in hard moments, with kindness and care. When you stumble or feel lost, loving kindness whispers, you are still worthy of love. This practice creates a quiet revolution within. It softens the edges of judgment and fear. It opens the door to forgiveness, not just for others, but most importantly, for yourself. As you grow in this practice, you may notice your heart expanding. You become more patient with your flaws. You feel less alone in your struggles. And slowly, you begin to see others through the same compassionate eyes. The Bodhisattva path is one of service, yes, but it starts with self-care. When you nurture your own loving kindness, you develop a strength that is gentle yet unshakable. This strength does not push or demand. It invites and holds. Try this now. Close your eyes if you can. Place your hand over your heart. Feel its steady beat. Know that this heart carries a great capacity for love. Let it remind you that you are connected to all beings by the thread of shared humanity. There is no rush. Loving kindness unfolds in its own time. Some days you may feel its warmth clearly. Other days it may hide beneath clouds of doubt. Both are okay. Both are part of the journey. In Zen, we often speak of just this moment. Loving kindness invites you to meet yourself exactly here, without judgment or demand. The past cannot be changed. The future is not yet here. All you have is this breath, this heartbeat, this moment to offer yourself kindness. When you carry loving kindness within, you begin to notice subtle changes. Your thoughts become softer. Your feelings become calmer. You start to recognize that loving yourself does not separate you from the world. It connects you more deeply. You see the world not as a place of fear and struggle, but as a web of beings, each seeking love and peace. Your kindness toward yourself becomes a seed that grows into a forest of compassion for others. The Buddhist said, just as a mother would protect her only child with her life, even so, let one cultivate a boundless heart toward all beings. This boundless heart includes you. So, nurture that heart. Speak kindly to yourself. Celebrate small victories and forgive small mistakes. This is the path of the Bodhisattva within, the one who loves, heals, and grows. Your self-love is not a destination, but a living practice. It flows in the way you breathe, the way you think, the way you act. It is the quiet power that supports you through life's storms and joys. And when you love yourself, you become a light for others. Your kindness inspires, your peace calms, your strength uplifts. This is the true gift of the Bodhisattva, the gift you give to yourself and the world. So, let your heart open a little more today. Offer yourself the same love you wish to see in others. In doing so, you honor the sacredness of your own life. Remember, the journey of loving kindness begins with one small step, the willingness to be gentle with yourself, here and now. From this place, your spirit can bloom, steady and free. This is the Bodhisattva within, the one who walks the path of love, not just for others, but first and always for yourself. The refuge of solitude. finding peace in your own company. Let me speak to you quietly, like a breeze passing through a temple garden. Listen not with your ears, but with the space inside your heart. In this part of the journey, I invite you to sit down with yourself, not to fix anything, not to chase after something, but simply to be. So many people fear being alone. They think silence is empty, that solitude is a punishment. But solitude is not loneliness. True solitude is a companion, not a curse. It is where the noise of the world softens. It is where the soul speaks. And when we listen, really listen, we hear something deeply beautiful: peace. In the teachings of the Buddha, there's no need to run away from the world to find this peace. You don't need a distant forest or a mountain cave. What you need is to stop running from yourself. You carry within you the very refuge you seek. It's not in the future. It's not in others. It's in this moment, with yourself, just as you are. Sometimes we surround ourselves with people, noise, and distractions because we're afraid of what we'll hear in the silence. Old pain, doubts, regrets. But remember, when a lake is stirred, it becomes cloudy. When it's left undisturbed, it clears. Silence is not your enemy. It is your mirror. In solitude, you can finally breathe in your own rhythm. You can cry without hiding. You can smile without reason. You can rest without apology. The world asks you to be someone all the time, someone useful, someone strong, someone productive. But in solitude, you don't need to be anyone. You just are. Buddhism teaches us about impermanence. That includes feelings of isolation. Even when you're alone, you're not abandoned. You're not forgotten. You're simply being given a sacred space to come home to yourself. The same way the moon belongs to no one, and yet it shines over all. Your inner light is waiting quietly for your return. In your younger days, you may have filled every moment with tasks and people, thinking that was living. But as we grow, we begin to see that the soul needs room to breathe. Not everything needs to be said. Not every silence needs to be broken. Not every space needs to be filled. When you walk alone in nature, when you sit with a cup of tea in the morning light, when you feel the hush of evening fall over your home, that is the voice of solitude whispering gently, "I am here. You are enough." Sometimes, healing doesn't come from advice or words. It comes from being with yourself long enough to understand your own story. It comes from knowing that even if the whole world misunderstands you, you still understand yourself. And that is enough. As we age, the body may slow down and friends may become fewer, but the soul grows deeper. And in that depth, solitude becomes richer, more meaningful. It is not about being without others. It is about finally being with yourself. You see, even the Buddha sat alone under the Bodhi tree, not in a crowd, not in a palace, not in noise, but alone in silence under the stars. And it was there that he awakened. There, in stillness, he touched truth. Ask yourself gently, when was the last time you sat in silence? Not feeling lonely, but feeling full? When did you last walk without a destination, letting each step carry you back to your own heart? There's a peace that comes only when you stop trying to escape yourself. There's a joy that arises only when you realize you're already whole. And in this quiet company, this deep companionship with your own being, something shifts. You begin to smile, not because everything is perfect, but because you're no longer at war with yourself. So if life gives you quiet moments, take them. If people leave, don't chase. If plans fall away, let them. These are not signs of loss. These are invitations to return. You don't need to fill every silence with sound. You don't need to fill every day with action. Sometimes, simply sitting with yourself is the greatest act of love. Remember, the Buddha didn't say, "Find someone who will make you whole." He said, "Be a light unto yourself." In solitude, that light grows. It starts as a spark, then it becomes a flame, then it becomes warmth. If today you find yourself alone, don't rush to fix it. Sit, breathe, feel the ground beneath you. Hear the sound of your breath. Feel the stillness. There's a deep knowing that lives in your bones. It has been there since the beginning. And in solitude, you meet it again. The world outside will always move, always demand, always distract. But you don't have to follow every sound. You can stay right here with yourself, in this breath, in this moment. You are not missing anything. You are returning. And when you begin to enjoy your own company, you no longer chase what doesn't serve you. You no longer beg for attention or pretend to be someone you are not. You begin to trust your own voice. You begin to walk your own path, not in defiance, but in quiet dignity. Solitude is not silence. It is presence. It is the sound of your own soul. It is the echo of truth that cannot be heard in the noise. It is the space where you meet yourself, not the version the world expects, but the one that is true. So today, if you can, close the door. Sit down. Let the world be. And just be. With yourself. No vida. No agenda. Just this breath. Just this you. This is the refuge. This is where peace begins. And slowly, without effort, you'll begin to feel it. Not outside, not far away, but right there in the center of your chest. The soft warmth of love. A love that has waited patiently for you to come home. A love that says, I am here. I have always been here. This is the gift of solitude, and it belongs to you. The karma of care. How self-love transforms your world. Listen closely. When you begin to truly care for yourself, your whole world begins to change. Not because the world itself has changed, but because your eyes, your way of seeing, have softened. That's what self-love does. It makes your vision kinder. It turns sharp edges into curves. It brings warmth where coldness once lived. This isn't a grand magic, it's a gentle shift. And in Buddhism, this shift is deeply connected with karma. Many people think karma is just about punishment or reward. But karma is action. It is the intention behind what we do, say, and think. So when your actions towards yourself come from love, care, and understanding, you plant seeds. Seeds that will grow into calm days, strong relationships, and a peaceful heart. If you go through your day with harsh words in your mind, telling yourself you're not good enough, not doing enough, not strong enough, that energy spreads. You might not see it, but it lingers in your tone, in your choices, in the way you look at others. But when you begin with gentleness, when you treat yourself with patience and love, that energy spreads too. And people feel it, even without words. The way we treat ourselves becomes the pattern for how we treat others. If we are always hard on ourselves, we'll be hard on others too, even without meaning to. But if we offer ourselves forgiveness, we'll offer it more freely to the world. The care you give yourself doesn't stop with you. It becomes the care you give to life. Many people spend their whole lives trying to change others. They believe peace will come when everyone around them behaves differently. But the Buddha taught that true peace starts within. If your heart is filled with turmoil, no matter how calm the world is, you will still suffer. But if your heart is calm, even in the middle of chaos, you will find peace. Self-love is not selfish. This is important. Many fear that if they love themselves, they'll become arrogant or disconnected. But true self-love humbles you. It shows you how tender life is. It helps you see that others, too, are carrying burdens just like yours. You begin to treat people gently, not because they demand it, but because you've learned how much that gentleness means to your own soul. When we say loving kindness in Buddhism, we speak of metta. It begins with yourself. The Buddha taught that you cannot pour from an empty cup. You cannot give light if your own flame is out. So, lighting your own inner lamp isn't pride, it's preparation. Preparation to walk through the world as someone who heals instead of harms, who understands instead of judges. Have you ever noticed how different your day feels when you begin with calm? Even something as simple as drinking tea slowly, sitting in silence, or taking a deep breath before speaking. These moments of care create ripples. These small acts of love become your karma. They become the force that moves your life gently forward. If you wake up in the morning and greet yourself kindly, you are already changing your future. If you make mistakes, but speak gently to yourself afterward, you are softening the path ahead. If you rest without guilt, nourish yourself without shame, and honor your needs without apology. You are creating karma that brings peace, not only to you, but to everyone who walks near you. There are people in your life who feel safe around you. Have you ever thought about why? It's because of how you hold your energy. It's because of your tone, your presence, your silence, your patience. That comes from the care you give yourself. The more love you show inward, the more love naturally flows outward. Without effort, without pushing, people notice when you love yourself. Not through your words, but through your ease. There's a quiet confidence that grows in those who know their own worth. It is not loud. It does not boast, but stands firm, and it invites others to feel safe in your company. That is the karma of care. It turns you into a refuge, not only for yourself, but for others. In Buddhism, the Bodhisattva is one who seeks awakening not only for themselves, but for the benefit of all beings. But that path doesn't begin with grand vows. It begins with soft steps. And one of the first steps is this: be kind to yourself. When you love yourself deeply, your suffering softens, your mind clears, and your actions become lighter. That is how you serve the world. Not through pressure, but through peace. Many who are older carry heavy stories. Regrets, hurts that were never spoken, dreams left behind. The Buddha never promised to erase the past, but he showed a way to stop carrying it. And that way begins with care. With understanding that you have always done your best, even when it didn't look perfect. When you sit quietly and listen to your breath, you return to now. And in this now, you have the power to change direction, not with force, but with awareness. You can begin to love yourself without waiting for the world to give you permission. You can create new karma with every breath, every thought, every touch of compassion. The world may never applaud your self-love, but you will feel its rewards in your body, your spirit, your relationships, your peace. The tiredness you carry begins to lift. The weight in your chest begins to soften. And slowly, gently, your life starts to bloom. Not because someone gave you love, but because you chose to give it to yourself. Let this truth be simple. You are worthy of your own care. Not because you've earned it, not because you're flawless, but because you are alive. That is enough. That has always been enough. And the more you believe it, the more your life will change. Care for yourself like someone precious. Because you are. Speak to yourself like someone sacred. Because you are. Be patient with your growth, gentle with your struggles, and proud of your quiet efforts. That is the karma that heals. That is the karma that transforms. Self-love is not the end of the journey. It is the path itself. One step at a time, one breath, one soft word, and in every moment, you return home to yourself. That is the greatest gift you can give to yourself and to the world. In every moment of your daily life, there is a chance to practice love for yourself. Not in grand or complicated ways, but in small, simple acts that gently remind you, you matter. The Buddha taught that the path to peace is found in the present moment. And in those moments, you have the power to care for your own heart. When you wake up in the morning, before the noise of the day begins, breathe deeply. Feel the breath enter your body and slowly leave. This breath is a gift, a sign that you are here, alive, capable of kindness toward yourself. Do not rush to judgment about your thoughts or feelings. Simply notice them as a wise friend might, curious, gentle, and patient. The sunlight on your face, the taste of your morning tea, the softness of your clothing. These small sensations are part of the fabric of your life. When you pay attention to these little things, you anchor yourself in the present. You begin to see the beauty of ordinary moments. Loving yourself is not about grand gestures. It is about the quiet gratitude for being alive, here and now. During the day, when challenges arise, and they will pause, take a moment to breathe. Feel your feet on the ground. Let your shoulders relax. When you feel frustration or anger, do not run away from these feelings. Instead, greet them like old visitors. They are not who you are, but they have come to remind you to be kind to yourself. If someone speaks harshly to you, or if you make a mistake, speak gently inside your own mind. I'm doing my best. It's okay to be human. These simple phrases can soften your heart. You do not need to be perfect. Perfection is not the goal. Peace is. When your mind wanders into worry or doubt, bring it back with kindness. Imagine you're holding a fragile bird in your hands. You would not squeeze it tightly. You would protect it with gentle care. Your mind is like that bird. Handle it with love. At night, before you rest, reflect on your day. Not with criticism, but with understanding. What moments made you smile? What moments were difficult? Hold them both with equal warmth. Life is made of light and shadow. Loving yourself means embracing all parts of your experience. Sometimes, loving yourself means saying no. Saying no to tasks or people who drain your energy. Saying no to habits that harm your body or spirit. Saying no is a form of respect. It is telling yourself that your well-being matters. Other times, loving yourself means reaching out for help. Buddhism teaches we are connected, like waves in the same ocean. It is not